Before you chose to click on this video, did you feel as though something unusual was stirring beneath the surface of your everyday life? Perhaps it was a strange sensation you could not quite put into words, a sudden thought that arrived out of nowhere, or a quiet inner voice whispering that something of great importance was starting to unfold behind the scenes. What if I revealed that at this very moment, your soulmate is navigating one of the most significant challenges of their entire life, and that in some mysterious way you are tied to that process? This is not a typical kind of challenge. It is not merely a matter of difficult circumstances, bad timing, or the ordinary stresses of everyday life. This is a challenge that reaches deep into the core of their being, compelling them to face emotions they have tried to ignore, truths they have attempted to avoid, and choices they can no longer push off until tomorrow. Right now, they may be questioning everything they thought they knew about who they are. They might be caught in a difficult struggle between fear and courage, balancing the desire for the safety of the familiar against the pull towards something far greater. The most surprising part of all this is that your presence in their life may be playing a much more significant role in this personal transformation than either of you truly realizes. The signs of this shift are already beginning to show. The change has already started. The question before us is not whether this challenge is real. The real question is what this challenge is trying to reveal, and why it is that you are involved. A major turning point is currently taking place in your soulmate's life. Even if they have not yet shared these feelings with anyone else, the weight of this moment is becoming impossible for them to push aside. There are specific periods in our lives when everything appears perfectly normal on the surface, yet underneath that calm exterior, a profound and invisible shift is moving through the foundation of our world. These moments often arrive without any warning at all. They do not announce themselves with absolute certainty, nor do they hand us a set of clear instructions on how to proceed. Instead, they emerge slowly through a series of feelings, sudden realizations, and shifting circumstances that gradually compel a person to view their entire existence from a completely different vantage point. This is the exact kind of experience your soulmate appears to be going through right now. For a very long time, it is easy for people to move through their lives by following well-worn patterns. They make their choices based on habit, a sense of comfort, or what they believe is expected of them by society or their peers. They become deeply accustomed to specific routines, certain rigid beliefs, and particular ways of viewing themselves in relation to the world. But eventually there arrives a moment when the inner self begins to wonder whether the path they are walking still reflects who they truly are at their core. This kind of questioning can feel deeply uncomfortable because it disrupts everything that once felt stable and secure. It creates a persistent sense of tension between the life a person has been building and the life they secretly feel called toward. Your soulmate may be standing right in that difficult space between the old version of themselves and the new one. A part of them might desperately want to stay where everything feels predictable and safe. At the same time, another part of them feels a growing, undeniable urge to move towards something with more meaning, even if that direction feels frighteningly uncertain. This inner conflict is often one of the clearest signs that a major turning point has arrived. It is not just about making a single decision. It is about deciding which version of themselves they are finally willing to become. The challenge of a turning point is that it rarely provides us with the answers we want right away. Instead, it asks for patience, raw honesty, and a commitment to self-reflection. Your soulmate may find themselves thinking about the same questions over and over again. They might be revisiting old memories, examining choices they made in the past, and reconsidering beliefs they once accepted without a second thought. What once seemed perfectly clear to them might suddenly feel clouded with uncertainty. Conversely, what once seemed entirely impossible might now appear to be within their reach. These shifts can be both exhilarating and overwhelming, because they serve as a signal that something truly important is transforming within their internal world. During times like these, emotions tend to become much more intense. Even small events may carry a weight and meaning that they never did before. Certain conversations may linger in their mind for days at a time. Unexpected feelings may rise up within them without any warning. This happens because a turning point is not just about the circumstances happening in the outside world. It is also about the fundamental transformation of personal awareness. The soul begins to notice things that were previously ignored or suppressed. It starts to recognize desires that were hidden beneath layers of fear, doubt, or the distractions of daily life. There may also be moments when your soulmate feels completely torn between the voice of logic and the voice of intuition. Logic tends to focus on what is practical, what is easily measured, and what is familiar. Intuition, however, speaks in a much quieter, more persistent voice. It points toward possibilities that cannot always be explained by facts alone. At a major turning point, these two forces often find themselves in direct conflict. One part of them searches for certainty, while the other part senses that genuine growth requires them to step far beyond the limits of what is known. This struggle can be confusing, but it is often a vital and necessary part of our personal evolution. What makes this particular moment so significant is that turning points have the incredible power to reshape a person's entire future. A single quiet realization can alter the trajectory of the years to come. A single decision can open doors that once seemed to be locked forever. The person who eventually emerges on the other side of such an experience is rarely the same as the person who entered it. They carry with them new wisdom, a new perspective, and a much deeper awareness of their own nature. Your soulmate may not fully grasp the importance of what they are experiencing yet. They may only feel that something deep inside is demanding a change they cannot ignore. While they may sense that certain chapters of their life are reaching a natural conclusion, new possibilities are starting to appear on the horizon. Although the path forward may still seem uncertain, the process of movement has already begun. The old foundations are starting to shift. New insights are breaking through, and their soul is gradually preparing them for a future that looks very different from the one they once imagined. You are connected to the decisions your soulmate is currently facing in ways that are likely much deeper than either of you fully understands. Some people pass through our lives briefly and move on without leaving much of an impact. Others become an integral part of our inner world, influencing our thoughts, our emotions, and the major choices we make long after a conversation has ended. When a connection reaches this level of depth and significance, it naturally becomes intertwined with the important decisions and life-changing moments we face. This appears to be exactly the kind of situation your soulmate is navigating right now. There are moments when a person believes they are making a decision about their career, their circumstances, or their personal goals. But beneath that surface, the real issue is tied to a relationship that has touched them in a profound way. The presence of another person has the power to awaken desires, fears, hopes, and questions that were previously hidden from view. Once those emotions have been stirred, they become nearly impossible to ignore entirely. Even if someone tries to focus strictly on practical day-to-day matters, the emotional reality continues to shape their thinking in subtle but powerful ways. Your soulmate may find themselves thinking of you repeatedly as they weigh these important choices. They may be wondering how certain decisions could change the connection they feel with you. They might be questioning whether they are truly ready to move toward something deeper, whether they are prepared to be vulnerable, or whether they can trust the emotions that continue to grow within them. These questions are rarely easy to answer because meaningful connections often challenge the protective walls people have spent years building around themselves. Many of us spend a large portion of our lives creating emotional defenses. These defenses usually grow out of past disappointments, fears of being rejected, painful memories, or experiences that taught us to be cautious. and guarded. Such barriers can provide a temporary sense of security, but they can also act as a cage that prevents genuine emotional growth. When someone truly special enters their life, those defenses begin to weaken. Feelings emerge that simply cannot be controlled or managed through logic alone. The heart starts to ask for honesty and authenticity, while the fear continues to argue for caution and distance. Your soulmate may be wrestling with this exact inner struggle right now, trying to figure out how to let down those heavy walls without getting hurt again. As they navigate this intense period, they are beginning to understand that staying where they are is no longer an option. The comfort of the past is fading, replaced by the realization that true fulfillment requires stepping into the unknown. They can feel your energy encouraging them forward, even when no words are spoken between you. This deep bond acts like a mirror, reflecting back to them the truth of who they are and what they are truly capable of achieving. Every thought they direct toward you brings a mix of hope and apprehension. They wonder if you can feel the shift that is taking place within them, or if you are also experiencing this profound magnetic pull. They know that to fully step into this connection, they must first heal the wounds that have kept them frozen for so long. This requires facing their deepest insecurities and acknowledging the mistakes they have made along the way. It is a quiet, solitary journey, yet your spirit remains a constant presence guiding them through the dark. As the days unfold, the urge to reach out and bridge the distance between you will only grow stronger. They are slowly realizing that the challenge they face is not meant to break them, but to break open the doors to a far more authentic existence. They are learning to trust the timing of their journey and to honor the quiet voice within that points toward you. The confusion is starting to clear, making room for a new sense of purpose and clarity. Soon, the internal battle will give way to decisive action, and the choices they make will align with the true calling of their heart. Until that moment arrives, know that the energy passing between your souls is actively working behind the scenes. Trust the process, hold space for their transformation, and recognize that everything taking place right now is laying the ground for a powerful reunion. The path may seem long, but every step they take brings them closer to the place where your lives align in complete harmony and understanding. Standing directly between these two opposing forces, part of them feels drawn toward the new possibilities connected to you. Another part of them might be worried about what could happen if they finally acknowledge those feelings. This creates a decision that is much larger than it appears to be on the surface. It is not just about choosing a direction in life. It is about deciding whether to finally trust what they feel deep down in their heart. As they reflect on their situation, they may notice that your influence shows up in the most unexpected ways. A specific memory might return to them without any warning. A past conversation might replay in their mind over and over. Something they once overlooked might suddenly take on a brand new, important meaning. These experiences often occur when the unconscious mind is attempting to bring essential truths into the light of conscious awareness. The soul recognizes the significance of a connection long before the logical mind is able to fully understand it. There may also be aspects of their own personality that they are discovering because of this bond. Sometimes another person acts like a mirror, revealing hidden qualities within us that we were previously unable to see. Through their connection with you, your soulmate may be recognizing strengths they never appreciated, emotions they never allowed themselves to express, or dreams they never felt safe enough to pursue. This entire process can be both inspiring and unsettling because true self-discovery requires us to confront the parts of ourselves that we have kept hidden for a long time. The decision they face may involve much more than external circumstances. It may involve choosing between fear and courage, between avoidance and total honesty, and between staying the same or embracing personal growth. These choices are rarely comfortable, because growth always demands that we leave something familiar behind, even when the future promises greater fulfillment. The uncertainty that comes with change can feel incredibly intimidating. Your soulmate may spend a great deal of time weighing every possibility, examining their deepest feelings and searching for a sense of clarity. They might analyze their situation over and over again, hoping to find absolute certainty before they take any action. Yet, some of the most important decisions in life cannot be solved through analysis alone. They require a willingness to trust in inner wisdom and emotional truth. This is often the most difficult part of any meaningful transformation because the certainty we crave rarely appears before we are willing to take that first frightening step. The connection you share has become a part of an important crossroads in their life. Whether they fully express it to you or keep it to themselves, your presence has contributed to a powerful process of reflection and awakening. Certain questions would not exist in their life without this bond. Certain realizations might never have reached the surface without the emotions that are tied to it. The deeper the connection, the greater its power to influence the choices that shape a person's future. In moments like these, the soul begins to recognize that some decisions are not just about changing our circumstances, but about becoming the person we were truly meant to be. Your soulmate is currently moving through a period of intense inner conflict and emotional growth, a process that often feels far more significant than any challenge occurring in their outside world. While external problems usually have clear and visible solutions, inner struggles require a person to confront parts of themselves that have remained hidden for years. This is not always a comfortable experience. In fact, real emotional growth often begins with confusion, a sense of uncertainty, and a feeling that something deep within is demanding to be seen. For a long time, people can avoid looking directly at their fears and their unresolved emotions. They become very skilled at distracting themselves through daily routines, heavy responsibilities, and the concerns of everyday life. Yet these hidden emotions never truly disappear. They remain just beneath the surface, influencing thoughts, reactions, and decisions in ways that are not always obvious to the conscious mind. Eventually, life presents us with situations that force these emotions into our awareness. When that happens, a person can no longer continue to live exactly as they did before. Your soulmate might be going through such a moment right now. Feelings they previously pushed aside are becoming harder to dismiss. Questions they once avoided are now demanding honest, thoughtful answers. This creates a powerful internal struggle because emotional truth often challenges the image a person has carefully built for themselves. It forces them to look beyond the surface and recognize what is genuinely unfolding within their heart. One of the most difficult parts of this emotional growth is the act of confronting fear. Fear can take many different forms. It may show up as a fear of being rejected, a fear of ending up disappointed, a fear of being vulnerable, or even a fear of losing control. These fears often develop as a way to protect ourselves based on experiences we had in the past. They work to convince a person that staying guarded is safer than opening up to the unknown. However, real growth requires moving past these protective barriers. It requires acknowledging the presence of fear without letting it dictate every single choice we make. Your soulmate may be coming to the realization that the emotional walls they built in the past are no longer helping them. What once felt like a necessary layer of protection may now feel more like a limitation. They might be noticing patterns in their own behavior that consistently prevent them from forming deeper connections or from expressing what they truly feel. Identifying these patterns is a vital step because true awareness must always come before genuine transformation. As this process continues to unfold, they may go through moments of intense emotion that seem difficult to explain. Small everyday events might trigger surprisingly strong reactions. Memories from years ago might come flooding back without any warning. Certain thoughts might loop through their mind over and over again. This happens because the unconscious mind is working hard to bring unresolved experiences into their conscious awareness. It is an invitation for them to finally face emotions that were once hidden or denied. The connection they feel with you may be playing a massive role in this entire process. Meaningful relationships often act like mirrors, reflecting parts of ourselves that we do not normally see in our day-to-day lives. Through the connection you share, your soulmate may be discovering both their greatest strengths and their deepest vulnerabilities. They might be recognizing how deeply they actually care, how much they value real emotional closeness, or how strongly they fear losing something that is truly important to them. These kinds of realizations can be overwhelming because they demand a level of honesty that cannot be brushed aside by logic alone. Real emotional growth also involves the difficult task of letting go of outdated beliefs. Many of us go through life carrying assumptions about ourselves that were formed years ago. A person might mistakenly believe that they are unworthy of love, incapable of trusting others, or destined to repeat the same old mistakes forever. These beliefs often operate quietly in the background, shaping our behavior without us even questioning them. During periods of major transformation, those assumptions start to crumble. A person begins to examine whether these internal stories are actually true or if they are simply baggage inherited from past experiences. Your soulmate may be standing right in the middle of this process, feeling both challenged and fundamentally changed by what they are finding. A part of them may want to retreat to the comfort of familiar habits, while another part intuitively understands that real growth requires moving forward. This tension is completely natural because transformation always involves leaving behind an older version of who we were. This journey is rarely smooth or easy, but it is often necessary if we want to reach a deeper understanding of ourselves. As they keep confronting their fears, examining their emotions, and questioning old patterns, they are gradually becoming more aware of who they truly are beneath the masks and defenses they once relied on so heavily. Every difficult realization contributes to a greater sense of living authentically. Every emotional challenge creates a new opportunity to gain deeper wisdom. Every moment of honest self-reflection helps them see the difference between what they learn through fear and what they feel through genuine truth. Through this ongoing journey, they are slowly uncovering parts of themselves that have been waiting to be recognized, understood, and accepted. Signs and synchronicities are beginning to appear in your soulmate's life in ways that may seem subtle at first, but they are already exerting a powerful influence on their inner world. These experiences frequently occur during periods of emotional awakening and personal transformation. They are not always big, dramatic events. Sometimes, these signs show up as repeated patterns that catch their attention when they least expect it. They might notice specific numbers appearing over and over on clocks, receipts, or signs. They might randomly hear a song that instantly reminds them of a shared moment, or stumble across a book, phrase, or conversation that directly answers a secret question they have been holding in their heart. To an outside observer, these moments might seem like simple coincidences, but to your soulmate, they carry an undeniable weight. They serve as subtle reminders that something larger than their everyday routine is currently at work, gently pushing them to pay closer attention to their spiritual path and the deep bond they hold with you. As these meaningful coincidences multiply, your soulmate will find it increasingly difficult to brush them off. The logical mind will try to rationalize these occurrences, explaining them away as pure chance, but the heart recognizes the underlying message. Each synchronicity acts as a gentle nudge from the universe, encouraging them to trust their intuition and step out of their comfortable shell. They begin to realize that the thoughts of you that keep popping into their head are not random accidents, but part of an ongoing energetic dialogue between your two souls. This realization brings both comfort and a sense of urgency, urging them to align their actions with the profound emotional truths they can no longer deny. This growing awareness marks the beginning of a whole new chapter in their personal evolution. They are starting to understand that every hurdle they have faced, every fear they have held on to, and every decision they are currently weighing is leading them toward a single, unified purpose. The universe is orchestrating events behind the scenes to help them clear out the clutter of the past and prepare for a far more authentic future. As they learn to listen to these quiet signposts, their confidence will slowly replace their hesitation. They will realize that stepping toward you and embracing this deep connection is not a risk to be feared, but a vital step in becoming the truest version of themselves.